June, June on the range. I did not come up with any other words for the song. Well, that was the best I could do. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what else to say. We are going to be talking about cowboying, though, so, that's going to be a thing. So, stay tuned for that. Hello, everyone. Britton here, also known as Samoki Dude, and I'm going to be doing a read-along reading club, whatever you want to call it on here, the tag, if you will, called June on the Range, where basically a bunch of people, like Michael K. Vaughn and Steve Donahue and Randy from the Literary Texan, basically read Westerns throughout the month of June. I saw my friend Joseph from Joseph Reads Books doing this tag last year, and I didn't really have a lot of books last year that I wanted to read for that month, but this year I do, so I wanted to join in on the fun. So I'm going to be talking about some Westerns I'm hoping to read and reread throughout the month of June. Hopefully it will go well as finishing some of the other books I've been reading for a while now. So, okay, I should get on with it before I go off on it on tangents, because let me tell you guys, I love going on tangents. That's part of the charm of this channel. So yes, I'm going to be covering Westerns. Well, not covering Westerns, but I'm going to be reading Westerns throughout the month of June. It should be a lot of fun. So yeah, let's get to it. I'm looking forward to this. So the first book I'm going to talk about is going to be a reread. I haven't read this book in about 10 years, but it's probably one of the most classic Westerns that most people have heard of, at least literary-wise. That isn't Blood Meridian or Lonesome Dove, of course, and that is True Grit by Charles Portis. I read this book about 10 years ago now. I was a freshman in high school. I read this for a Oklahoma history class, because I will say there are parts of this book that take place in Oklahoma, and I haven't read it since. I've wanted to read it again for a while, and now I've got the chance to. And the nice thing about True Grit is that it is not a very long read. And I remember really liking it when I read it last time. I like the film adaptations, of course. I mean, I like the 60s version with John Wayne. I also like the Coen's version that they did in 2010, if I believe so. Both of them are very good. I actually prefer the Coen's version. I mean, not just because, I love the Coen brothers, but I just think it's a better film overall. It's one of the rare remakes I actually think is better than the original filmed version. And from what I remember, it is closer to the book. But I am looking forward to reading True Grit again. This copy I got is really nice. It has a lot of blurbs from a lot of different people. I mean, people from all over the place. Like, we got Michael Chabon, Jonathan Letham's blurbed this copy. Donna Tartt did the afterword, but that's not really new. That's more, she did, I think she already has done this. They just added it to this copy. Bill Hader likes this. Bob Odenkirk, Saul Goodman himself, blurbed this version of the book. I mean, George Pelecanos of The Wire fame, and he's written a bunch of crime novels, really likes this book. Larry McMurtry's on here. I mean, there's a lot of people. Blurbed in this copy of the book. It's kind of surprising how many people really like True Grit, and I remember liking it myself, for good reason. It's a good book, from what I remember, and I'm hoping that my reread will be just as good as when I read it last time, so I'm really looking forward to reading this. And hopefully it'll be good. So, yeah, there is my first read. Or technically, it's a reread. So we'll see how that goes. Next book I have here on the kind of quirky Western style that I'm going for here, I got The Sisters Brothers by Patrick DeWitt. This is a book I've been meaning to read for a while. I had first heard of it because of the movie. There's a movie that came out a few years ago. It had Joaquin Phoenix and John C. Reilly as the titular Sisters Brothers. From what I've heard it's kind of like True Grit, and that it's kind of this, darkly comic, great dialogue, kind of quirky version of the Western, and it also takes place in Oregon, so, very interesting direction to take it in. But from what I've heard, this is a really good book. I mean, it was shortlisted for the Booker Prize, so, I mean, that's got to mean something. That has to mean there's something here to read. But I really like the copy I got here. I do wish it was the red one personally, but hey, I got the blue one, so it's all good. I got it for Christmas, and I'm hoping to read this soon because I've heard it's really good, and it looks like a book that I would enjoy quite a bit. So yeah, The Sisters Brothers by Patrick DeWitt is the second book I'm going to be reading. during June on the Range. I mean, it is a Western, so I mean, I generally like the more literary, offbeat Westerns, I guess, if you will. Um, I'm really bad at keeping up with like the pulp westerns, like Louis L'Amour or Zane Grey. Though, hey, if any of you are into like Zane Grey or Louis L'Amour, feel free to recommend me some other westerns down below. Maybe I can try to fit them in this June on the Range, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, Sisters Brothers is my next pick. Third one is one I was going to read earlier this year, but I decided to wait till this month to do it because I've been doing a bit of a thing. And that is Cities on the Plain by Cormac McCarthy. This is the third of his Border trilogy and the last of the Border trilogy. I read All the Pretty Horses, 2023, really enjoyed it. Read The Crossing last year, really enjoyed it. And now I am reading Cities on the Plain, hoping to finish off the trilogy in good time. Because Cormac McCarthy... I mean, what can I say about him that hasn't already been said by me and dozens of other people? One of the greatest writers who ever lived. I mean, what can I say? Cities on the Plain, I've heard, is a bit more lighthearted, kind of goes back to that All the Pretty Horses tone that he was going for, where it's somewhat lighthearted, while still having that kind of really dark, bleak, depressing, Cormac McCarthy vibe that we all know and love. But I've heard that this one is where the main characters from the two previous books have met, and now they are trying to contend with the fact that the Wild West is coming to an end. It's been coming to an end for a while, but they're in the death throes at the moment. And after the just bleakness that was The Crossing, and that is saying a lot. I mean, that was probably the saddest book that Cormac McCarthy has ever written, which again is saying a lot. It's just, it'll be kind of nice to get a refresher, and it's also pretty short, so I shouldn't have too much of a hassle to read it. But, it is Cormac McCarthy, and Cormac McCarthy is never as simple as he first appears. Even his more mainstream work, like All the Pretty Horses and No Country for Old Men, are filled with depth and meaning and all that fun stuff. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to Cities of the Plain. I keep seeing Cities on the Plain. Sorry if you heard me say that. But Cities of the Plain by Cormac McCarthy. This is the last of his Border trilogy. I am hoping to end this book out in style because, Cormac McCarthy, he's one of my favorite authors. He's really great at what he does. And this was one of those kind of like No Country where it kind of started out as a film or started out as a screenplay, and then he decided to turn it into a book. So I'm curious to see if it'll be that kind of really stripped back, laconic prose style that he used for No Country. Probably not. We'll see. But I really hope that Cities of the Plain will end out the trilogy in style. Really looking forward to reading this book, and hopefully I'll be able to get to it before the end of the month. So yeah, I'll just put that down. Next read, my final big read that I'm hoping to do. I do have one that I am considering getting to, but that's one I'm hoping to get to if I have enough time. So yeah, the one I'm hoping to get to before the end of the month, the last really big one that I'm hoping to get to before the month ends, is All God's Children by Aaron Gwyn, who is an acquaintance of mine. I do know him. We have talked through Twitter a few times. He's a good dude. He has a lot of interesting opinions about Cormac McCarthy and literature and all that. But he wrote a Western novel called All God's Children, which is kind of his Cormac McCarthy, Huckleberry Finn kind of book. I haven't really read this yet. I'm kind of trying to go in as blind as possible. I do know he put out another book this year called The Cannibal Owl. I haven't picked that one up yet, but I know that he put that out not too long ago, so, not too long ago. It's almost June. It came out in January, so a little while back, but, not too long ago. But All God's Children, though, sounded really interesting to me. It seems like that type of literary Western that I would really like, and it seems like it'll be a really fun kind of book. I'm really hoping it's good. Considering how much of a student that Aaron Gwyn is of Cormac McCarthy, I imagine this won't be the rosiest read in the world. But hopefully it'll go well. I'm really hoping it goes well because I like Aaron. I wouldn't say we're friends, but I would say that he's a cool guy, and he has a lot of interesting opinions about writing, and I've read a few of like his articles and like editorials that he's done in other places, and he has a very good voice as an author. So I'm really hoping he brings that good voice to All God's Children here from Aaron Gwyn. Why did I say that? I don't know. I'm just kind of going off what I'm being told here. But All God's Children sounds like a book I would enjoy. It does take place in Texas. Once again, those fucking Texans are getting another book. It's not fair. Texas gets all the love. Oklahoma doesn't get any of the love. I mean, I'm wearing my OU shirt. This is unacceptable, Aaron. You're a fellow Okie. You should know better than this. You should stop giving Texas the more attention. But yeah, anyway, I'm getting off topic. All God's Children by Aaron Gwyn. Hoping to read that book at some point during the month of June. Hopefully that I will get to it and it will be fun, and I'm really looking forward to reading it. So yeah, All God's Children. So I have one more book that I'll mention, and this is more of a, if I have time and I've completed most, if not all of these books, I'll get to it. Because, I don't want to make promises to people that I can't keep. But Miss Tori Tekken was very, very kind to give me an e-arc for her new book, Cold Silver for Souls. And I thought, if June on the Range goes well, if all these books I get through at a pretty good pace, you know what? I'll give Cold Silver for Souls a try. I'm not going to make any promises. I don't know if I'll be able to get to Cold Silver for Souls, but I would really like to if I do get the chance, because I read Phased from Tori a few months ago, if you guys remember, and it was a really good book. I really enjoyed it, and it was also very surprising in a lot of ways. It went in some directions that I wasn't expecting at all, and Tori, I think, is also very gifted storyteller. I really do think so, and it's not me just saying that because I'm a fan of her channel. She really is the real deal. I really liked her her style a lot, and it's really, really good. It was really, really good, and I'm really hoping that Cold Silver for Souls is good too, because it would really suck if it probably won't, because she wrote Phased, and I really liked Phased a lot more than I thought I would. I mean, I knew I would enjoy it because of werewolves, of course. But I didn't know what Tori was going to do. So, yeah, I was very, very pleasantly surprised by that book. But Cold Silver for Souls is kind of a fantasy western set in this kind of alternate world, if you will, that's kind of based on the Yukon. I know she's a big Jack London fan, so it's kind of like, I guess, if Jack London wrote a fantasy novel, for lack of a better word, from the sounds of it. I know that, as far as I know, I don't think Jack London wrote any westerns, but he definitely wrote a lot about adventure and going out into the Canadian Yukon, where it's super freaking cold, and apparently that's what the setting is based on. So, yeah, it's basically this necromancer cowgirl cowgirl. Let me know in the comments, Tori, if you've gotten this far. But yeah, so, yeah, I'm hoping to get to that. I again, not making any promises. I don't know if I'll be able to get to it, but if I can, I would really like to get to, June on the Range, or not June on the Range, Cold Silver for Souls, if I get the chance. I would enjoy doing that. But, yeah, so that's about it in terms of all the books I'm hoping to read on June on the Range. I don't generally do TBRs because, to be honest, I just think that they set a really or what's the word I'm looking for? It sets an expectation, and I don't like that. I don't like expectation. I don't like making those expectations for myself, because I'll just overthink it, and then I'll fail, and I'll just feel bad, and nobody wants that. But I am hoping to read most of these books, at least, during the month of June, and this is just kind of what I'm hoping to get to. I'm not trying to put any timeline on them, so I guess this is kind of a TBR, but it's a TBR, it's my style of a TBR, if you will, because I don't like doing TBRs. Again, they make you set a bunch of unrealistic expectations, and anyway, I don't want to go on a rant about TBRs at the moment, but I hope you guys enjoyed. And I'm looking forward to joining along with guys like Michael K. Vaughan and Steve Donahue and Joseph Reed's books when it comes to stuff like June on the Range. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my little song there, because every time I would see June on the Range, I always thought of Home on the Range, which, if that wasn't intentional, I don't know what to say. But anyway, that's enough of that. So, social media time. If you guys enjoyed this video, you can like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. If you can also find me on Twitter. You can also find me on Goodreads and Letterboxd, where I write reviews that are probably more coherent than the one you just heard right now. You can also find me on Instagram and Blue Sky. I am using Blue Sky a little bit more now. I'm starting to get the hang of it, but I don't use it that often, but I'm starting to get the hang of it. Instagram, you can find me on there. I like hanging out with you guys. And like I said before, like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. As my buddy John Minton likes to say, it feels good when you do it. And that's really all I have for today. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and happy June on the Range. If you guys are joining in, let me know what books you are hoping to read during the month of June on the Range. I like hearing from you guys, so yeah. And thank you guys for watching. Once again, I'm very blessed that you guys are choosing to watch my channel. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode of Some Okie Dude. And until next time, see you guys later. Bye-bye.